The world ain't what it seems, is it, Gunny?
No, sir.
You keep that in mind. The moment you think you got it figured, you're wrong.
You got a name?
Yep. I'm not going to get into paper wrapped bullets, but this video is basically about how Generation X and the Millennials got their political mandate stolen for generations, basically, by the boomers. So, more extension of the evolution of Bretton Woods into the Petro meme coin garbage Tether token scam, right? Well, they just offshore everything and everything's growth. I mean, and they just didn't want to let it go. And as soon as, like a father figure showed up to basically chop up the credit cards, work on a debt pay down plan, cut spending, and, rein in the diplomatic morass that was created by all the military action, to keep the Petro meme coin Tether token scam operating. So it's here's my case. It's pretty cut and dry. Like, basically linking Form 40B for Medicare Part B. Like, that's the form you fill out when you turn 65 to qualify for Medicare, right? So, I mean, why should you spend your own money, right? That you've been, like, inflating everything and destroying everything. Just more greed and more letting it ride, more narcissism. The boomers are just... The track record's not great, let's be honest. So the Form 40B, like I said, that's what you fill out, right? It's this Medicare form, 40B, right? So this generation of 40B people is what I'm calling them, because right when they were just getting into this retirement age, they were retired and they were looking at turning 65 pretty soon. So, I call them the 40B crowd during this political time of Ron Paul, essentially, because he was kind of the beginning, right? He was like Tea Party member, like patient zero, right? So this is the crowd, right? Just boomers. And I mean, where we're at now with the current state of affairs in America, like, everything that Ron Paul said is what we need, like what we need now, and what politicians are kind of starting to acquiesce to, because I mean, it's just a huge scam what's going on, and the federal government is just out of control, and like the military apparatus and defense apparatus and all these different intelligent, like, everything is just so far gone, right? And it all kind of goes back to this generation and their scam to have infinite growth by offshoring all the manufacturing to China, and, like, call center jobs to India, and just everything, so they could maximize the cost savings and profits. It's essentially the private equity. This is the beginnings of all the enshittification of everything. This is what these people did. And they didn't want it to end. So they just, there was never really like a passing of the torch, like how the silent generation kind of integrated the boomers into DC, and like Generation X and was blocked out, and so were the millennials, and we're still on this generation of people's politics way past their time. So, what everybody else wanted that was trying to get their career started and stuff didn't matter. It was all about what these people want, and it's just disgusting. So, you just got. They hated this guy.
Capitalism
right?
should not be
Like,
condemned, since we haven't had
he's the only
capitalism.
honest politician everyone's ever talked to.
Sound money, not fiat money manipulated by a
Like,
central
I was.
bank. Capitalism cherishes voluntary.
I was in my 20s, like early 20s. College, I was still in college, I think. And I mean, this guy was just.
It's not capitalism when the system is plagued with.
No, I was out of college for a while, but this guy did things, and I campaigned for my grandpa
protectionism, corporate subsidies,
when he was a councilman when I was younger. So I've been around politics for a long time. I've never seen something like what this guy did. And I mean, people were excited for once to go vote. Like, it was insane. He was filling like every auditorium and like stadium type shit. It was crazy. He was a rock star. It was insane, and it scared the shit out of these people. And everything he's talking about is going to shut down their Petro meme coin, growth, private equity, and shitification scam, so they could go buy their third fucking beach house. Well, they tell, the generations after us are all just lazy. They need to pull up their bootstraps, pack a PBJ for lunch, Burritos $20. What planet are you living on? This is the kind of ego they have too after what they've done, right? So, I mean, everybody knows Ron Paul's shtick, right? Like, he's talking about sound money here, backed by stuff, not fiat bullshit, and he's just, Ron Paul's a real deal, and I mean, this is what politicians are going to start spewing now because they know the jig is up. But it's already too late now. It's like the demographics have changed with immigration, and there's no turning back. Like, legacy Americans can keep their wives pregnant every 9 months for the 10 years, next 10 years, and it won't catch up even close. Like, it's over.
Would true immigration reform include a guest worker program in your judgment?
Well, those words are tricky because sometimes if you say for a guest worker program, all of a sudden they construe that now. The conventional wisdom is that there will be amnesty. We've always had workers come to this country, but they have to be legal. And we have to deal with the welfare state. We can't allow the illegal immigrants to qualify for Social Security.
This was the turning point.
For 18 months. We just flat out can't afford it.
All right. Thank you very much for laying
Not to steal Charlie's words, but we got Obungus after this guy. So that was just more welfare for all these illegals that were pouring in. Obama pretty much, they've been coming in nonstop. And then it expanded under Biden, and it's bad, even before Biden, Trump didn't want to put the wall up for nothing. Shit was getting out of control. Like, Biden, it just went nuclear, but then they're all getting all this Obamacare for free. This is all law too. Like, all these people have to get this money by law. So it's like, the government just wants to get bigger. And it's just like the TikTok deal I talk about. Like, the boomer, instead of the consortium using the government to enrich themselves, this is the boomers doing it. And they fucking hijacked the political mandate of the generations preceding them. I mean, I'm almost 50. Like, where was my representation for the last 30 years I've been in the workforce, right? Like, we all wanted, every person I know, that even non-conservatives were on Ron Paul. Like, he was a fucking rock star, and we got robbed, right? So the 40B crowd, these fucking Medicaid Part B old people, right? And they're like 80 years old in Congress still now. It's just absolutely retarded, and this is their scam, their little petrodollar. It's a meme coin, for Christ's sake, with a Tether token that they just, whenever they want to do some pump and dump shit, they just drop a couple fucking bombs. And then, all the military-industrial complex guys get money. All the operators get money for going on vacation down here, like scoping targets or whatever the fuck they can rent seek for. I mean, this shit is out of control, right?
Folks out there who would actually say that our intervention in Iraq had to do with monetary policy, because going back to 2000 or 2002, Saddam Hussein was talking about getting out of the petrodollar system that Nixon set up when he took us off the gold standard, getting out of the petrodollar system and selling OPEC oil for euros, which had been created not too long before that.
It's
And,
just a
folks
huge
also
scam.
say this is the same thing that happened in Libya,
Right? Like,
with the gold dinar.
everybody
that
knows what it
Gaddafi wanted to-
is. You know, you're not allowed to talk about it, right?
Why does Israel
It's
need our
hog
help?
heaven.
We need to get out of their way. I mean, we interfere with them. We interfere with them when they deal with their borders, when they want to have peace treaties. We tell them what they can do because we buy their allegiance.
Yeah,
and they
Israel's, you know,
sacrifice
they're
their
so
sovereignty
tough,
to
all
us.
this shit. They're
And then
big
they
badasses.
decide they
Let
wanna
them, you
bomb
know.
something. That's their business.
Let's
but
see
they
it,
should,
Chief.
You know, suffer
You know
the
what I mean? Like,
consequences. When they bombed the Iraqi missile site,
it's like going out to
nuclear
the,
site
you know,
back in the
when
80s,
everybody's
I was one of
got the
few in
friend that
Congress
when they
said
go
it's none
out,
of our
like to the
business,
bar or
and
something,
Israel
start
should
shit
take
with
care of themselves.
everybody.
Israel has
Right?
200,
Like, it
300
gets old
nuclear
after a while.
missiles.
You get dragged
They-
into
they can take
fights.
care of themselves.
You know?
Why should we
It's
commit?
like,
We
dude,
don't even have a treaty with Israel.
you're good.
Why do we have
You
this
know?
automatic commitment that we're going to send our kids and send our money endlessly to Israel? So I think they're quite capable of taking care of themselves. I think we do detriment. Just think of all the money we
I remember
gave
they
to
cut
Egypt
that
over
kid
30 or
off.
40
He was like
years.
a
Now, look,
military
we were
vet.
buying
They brought him
friendship.
up in front of
Now
the
there's a
camera.
civil war. They're less
They were
friendly to
interviewing him
Israel.
about
The
Ron
whole thing
Paul,
is
and then
gonna
they cut the
backfire
camera on him
once
as
we
soon
go
as he was like,
bankrupt
"We
and
don't need to
remove
go
our
into
troops."
Iran.
So
Israel
I
can
think
take
we
care of
should
them."
be very cautious in our
Cut the
willingness
camera.
to go to
Right before
war
that,
and
they're
send
like telling,
troops without
trying
a
to,
proper
you know, paint the
declaration
pit
by
like,
the
"Oh,
US
this
Congress."
kid's great. Yep, oh yeah, I've been in 10 years. This is my third tour." They're like, "Oh, you know, you're a hero. Appreciate it. You know, what do you got to say about your political candidate?" As soon as he starts talking, I mean, he's not cussing. He's not, you know, he's just saying his opinion. He wants to go home. He wants to see a peacetime army, and they just cut the camera on him. It's like, I'll never forget some of the stuff they did to this guy. I mean, Jon Stewart had a great stint on it too. How like everyone was just ignoring him, and like he had the best numbers and all this stuff. And I mean, like, imagine if you told everybody there was a candidate that was running for all the things in this video right here, right now, today, and how fast that person would get voted in.
Ron Paul wants to cut a stunning $1 trillion out of a $15 trillion
Doge.
economy, and he wants to do it in the first year. It would
Right.
change everything. 440,000 government jobs
This
gone.
is
He
Doge is
closed
Ron
1/3
Paul.
of the cabinet level
Tea
departments,
Party patient
commerce,
zero.
education, energy, HUD, interior departments. He'd also shut down the TSA, close that completely, moving those responsibilities, he says, to the private sector. He'd end funding for
We'll just
foreign
pay for
wars.
managed
He would cut
services and
foreign
do
aid.
reviews
He would cut
quarterly.
defense,
Keep
and he
that
would bring
budget
spending
down.
back to 2006
Best
levels.
performance
Look at this chart
delivery.
of his economic plan. This is his spending. It shows spending dropping off a cliff. Look at that compared with the president's proposals.
Boomers
that drop-off
shit
would no doubt
themselves when
be
they saw
felt
this
by
guy.
everyone. He also
Right?
wants to reform.
He was turning
not only
off the
reform,
credit
and
cards
the
because
Federal
they
Reserve. He
they
says the
fucking
Fed is
maxed them all
destroying the
out,
value
right?
of the
Like,
dollar. He says the Fed
he came in and was
printing
like,
money,
"Holy
to
shit,
respond to
you
the
know,
financial
party's
crisis is
over,"
making
and
the
they were
dollar
just like,
worthless and will cause
fuck
dangerous
you.
inflation. He'd kill
Let
what
it
he calls
ride, baby. You
Obamacare,
ain't
and he wants
getting
to repeal
shit.
financial market
You're just dumb
regulations.
kids.
Now, on taxes,
Bunch of
Ron Paul
pull
doesn't
up
believe
your
the government should have
bootstraps.
your money. He would extend the Bush tax cuts. He would end the capital gains
Pack
tax.
your
He says
PBJ.
that punishes you for success. He would
Burritos,
end
$20.
taxes on tips. He says it's really important
God.
for working
Plebs
people
always
and for
complaining.
students not to pay
I
taxes
got
on
them
their
for
tips. He says it's
$17.50
immoral to tax
at
seniors
my
for
place.
Social Security
Then my
benefits,
wife cooked
and he
them
would
up
lower
for
the
my
corporate
family
tax
at
rate to
12.
15%.
Like,
He
damn.
goes beyond just
This is
lowering
how you're talking to
taxes. He would
people?
support a liberty amendment
Like,
to
it's just
end income taxes and to
narcissism and
close
just
the IRS for good.
retardery.
Basically,
And like,
Ron
when I
Paul
meet people that
wants to
still buy
slam
into
the
this
brakes on the American
fucking
economy
Petro
and on the
meme
government.
coin,
Middle-of-the-road
Tether
economists say,
token,
hey, look, this would drive the
40B
economy
Bretton
back into
Woods
recession.
extension scam.
It would
It
kill
just
up to
makes
1.5
me
million
fucking
private
laugh.
sector jobs. Paul supporters say,
And
hey,
it's,
that's
you know.
exactly the point. The government is crowding out the free market. It's distorting the economy. It's just what America needs, the jolt America needs. Christine Romans, CNN, Atlanta.
He's the best politician ever, you know? I don't know. That's my opinion, but I know a lot of people on both sides that loved him, and everything he said makes sense. And people bring him on for, like, discussions and stuff all the time. He's super smart. He knows what he's talking about, and everything that every American citizen really needs, like he was talking about a long time ago. And like everybody knows this all makes sense and what needs to happen. And there needs to be some economic pain. And it's like, oh, if you end the Fed, it'll be like 10 years of economic reset. It's like, well, you know, I mean, we could have started this in 2008. We would have been over it before fucking COVID started, you know, but now we got to wait because they didn't want to pull the Band-Aid off. So basically my generation not only got fucked and had huge inflation while wages were stagnant, and it's just going to continue. And if basically we're going to have to sacrifice the rest of our life and all the money we've been saving to fix it for the next generation. I mean, I'm happy to do it. I'm not like our parents or that generation, like selfish, completely narcissistic, toxic to society humans. Like, it's terrible. It's got to stop. And if the cycle stops with Gen X and millennials, so be it. And I guarantee you I'm not the only one that thinks that. So, you know, if we got to clean up our parents' mess for our kids, that's fine. You know, I guess we got to shoulder that. But it doesn't mean we don't get to point out the shitty behavior and absolute criminality and racketeering and, you know, just so many levels of corruption and ridiculousness that these people do to keep their little finance scam going, you know? So they were so fucking scared of this guy. And like, this shit's hilarious. This is when they did the 40B, right? And that's where this video is coming from. It's like, I made the realization that Ron Paul's policies are essentially what the American people want, and it's going to start being the new conservative platform because it has to be, and because it's what the people want. So to placate everybody, they're going to have to start being a lot more honest to the people and treating it like a constitutional republic and not a fucking, you know, hedge fund for your retirements, right? Like, the pension shit is out of control too. Don't even get me started on that. But this is these old fucks. I mean, they're robbing us right now. Gen X and millennials wanted political consensus was the Ron Paul message and everything he talked about. That's what we wanted for our like runway for our careers, right? Like, it's so when we got robbed of it. So there's usually a passing of the torch. There wasn't. Like that generation, our parents, they were just horribly selfish about all this shit. I mean, this is laughable. Like, they're saying there's no objections. Like, I remember this. I was so pissed off. I mean, they just railroaded him by changing the rules, and then it burned him when Trump, you know, and this is the title of this video from 10 years ago. And then, you know, when Trump ran, they all fucking hated him too, but 40B backfired on him. So it was like trying to kill the will of the people backfired. So now the guy that came up and just started parroting all that shit, like he was against the deep state and the system, and just like Ron Paul was a big shock to the system, right? So, and he did it so he could just leverage and ingratiate himself and his family. He didn't do it for the betterment of the country like Ron Paul was going to do. So that's a little bit of irony, but I mean, Trump's not really helping us either. So he used it to get himself in a better position and serve his ego. Like I said, I mean, it's just the narcissism projection from these people. It's just so disgusting watching it, you know.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. Pending another chair, the ayes have it.
It's just terrible. Like, there was no vote. It was like to me the no sounded louder, but to say there's no objection, and like the way they railroaded this guy, like I remember like there was delegates for Ron Paul that were like like for the caucuses in different local counties and townships and stuff, and the GOP would like cancel or reschedule the venue to a different like part of the town hall or a different building in the same town, like a municipal building, and like they wouldn't tell any of the Ron Paul people, and then like they would go in, they would call a quorum, they would do the vote and be out. Like that's how consorted this shit was. It was really bad. Like it wasn't just the GOP as a whole like changing their rules in the middle of an election to lock out the Ron Paul revolution, essentially. Which is, like I've said a few times, the Generation X and Millennial mandate. That was the social deal we were looking for from our government, and we were the ones entering the workforce. So it's like you kind of have to let those people set the rules because they're going to make the families and invest in the next generation. Like when you're on fucking Medicare and sitting on the profits from your last little run, right? That was from that age group. Like you got to sit the fuck down and let the next generation take a crack at it. Like it's unbelievable what these people did. I mean, we kind of it's just so terrible. I can't even. So the 40B generation created Rule 40B to block Ron Paul. Then it got Trump in, which cost them tons of money. And, now they're just going all in and saying fuck it. Because they know the whole thing's tits up. And, like all most of these people are just going to move to like China, essentially. Like, because that's the next hustle, right? And like the state will protect your class and like where you're at finance. It's so sick. It's disgusting. And they can like farm organs from kids in school and shit by being part of the party, like high financed party members, right? Like this shit is just, don't even get me going. I mean, it's just these people screwed Gen X and the millennials out of their political mandate and the social contract that they were trying to sign up and set up for, which would have fixed everything. And not only did the boomers ruin that for Gen X and the millennials, and essentially has made their wages like not keep up with inflation, so their savings is just hurt at the very least. I'm not saying they don't have any or invest, like they're not able to save and invest, but it's not a great environment and it's not even close to what they got. And it's because they're just stealing everything still. So what's left is like table scraps, and then we gotta fight for that shit. And it's just disgusting. Like, to me, it's what they did is tortious interference. So, but you'll never be able to prove it. And yeah, that's my case pretty much. The federal Form 40, the Medicare Form CMS 40B people shit their pants when a Ron Paul candidate showed up and made Rule 40B to steal another 30, 40 years of Petro meme coin, Tether token, fucking Ponzi scheme, military industrial like Ponzi scheme. It's just and like people, it's just so gross. I just wow. So pack your PBJ, guys. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Maybe you can put some ramen noodles on your PBJ on the weekend if you're a good boy. So, rich dudes went out and bought burritos for $17, bro. You're just a whiner. What the fuck? This black pill doomer generation. Anybody that's against the evolution of Bretton Woods fucking stage 2 Petro meme coin Tether token scam fucking is a doomer and an incel and fucking needs to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Like, it's just so hilariously, and like their anecdotes too, it's just they're so narcissistic, and it's just like a giant pat on the back. just talking down to people that just want fucking sound money, secure borders, no more endless fucking wars to play meme coin games with oil, and
why does Israel?
getting involved with Israel and letting them just fuck everything. Like, it's such a shit show. Like, I'm not saying we don't need to get involved with them, but like, they can fight their own fights, man. The blowback we get is ridiculous. Like, we gotta be a lot more cool about what we do as America, like, and be more measured and not do meme coin scams around the world for resources. Like, we have to like set the example and be the change we want to be, right? I know that sounds stupid, but like, we have to be like that beacon of lawful goodness and bureaucratic, like benefactors, like a government that's not trying to fuck you, right? Like, people that respect freedom and individual rights. And I don't know. It's it is what it is. So here we are. We'll just keep doing this for many, many more years with 80, 90-year-old senators that have been letting it ride for 50 years while they just ran over the generations that came after them. So, will we ever see Ron Paul's policies get put into place? Who knows? I mean, my generation's didn't have kids, or a lot of them, so there's just really nothing left. The liberty, freedom, constitutional republics, individual response, all these things are just gone. It's legacy America, legacy American out.